So Chef Morimoto, thank you so much for joining us after the great presentation. The theme of this year's Congress is the responsibility of the chef. And we've heard discussions on many topics, mentoring, the importance of the sustainability of resources, seafood, etc. I was hoping to ask you, we would be interested, the theme of responsibility of the chef in the Japanese culture. Could you tell us a little bit about the issues now in Japan that the chefs are considering thinking about?
In Japan
or
here?
Well, happy to hear about both. If you'd like to start with the U.S., the things that you're seeing, obviously you've been cooking for some time. What things are changing? What do you see as the positive things that are happening?
Okay, of course, I was born in Japan.
Yes.
A year ago, but like 53 years ago. Then, so I spent in some time 23 years here. Then I have business here. So let's talk about here.
Okay.
So maybe long time people talking about Japanese or including Japanese Asian food boom trend. I don't think boom is gone already, finished. So already, pumping up everything, settlements. So someone's good, Simon, okay, for example, maybe 20 years ago, it's sushi boom, first sushi boom came, okay? And vinegar rice and raw fish called sushi. And everyone wants to do sushi, but someone goes salmon bear and this. And now, so lots of change here, ingredients from Japan,
Easier to get here.
To get much better than so 20 years ago.
Right.
So which is a lot of people doing a lot of work with the transportations, and then maybe political thing, maybe
to make things easier.
Yes. So maybe you can buy anything you want if you pay the money. But you can do the Japanese restaurant here because you can get the a lot of fish from Tsukiji, and even from Japan.
Right.
But maybe you don't know how. Then all the people who doesn't know any prepping, what's the danger, which are good, bad. But a lot of people doing the business here because a lot of people thinking Asian, Japanese boom.
Right. So we're seeing sushi now in every supermarket all over the place.
This is kind of danger things, So because
you say it's dangerous.
Kind of dangerous because sushi is very popular here. Well, very healthy, good for health.
Right.
So kind of diet things.
This is the perception.
Yes. But if something happened in the restaurant from sushi, raw fish, it's going to be finished. So we have to consider that we have to teach how to keeping some quality things.
Right.
So that's our Japanese culture wants to do that. Japanese governments want to control that, but they can't because they don't know. So here, what's going on here? No, they don't know any regulation here. We know.
Sure, because you've been here for so many years.
So I'm not like a foreign. I'm local. Unfortunately, I was born in Japan. But I do business here, I know regulation here, I'm doing business here. So that's maybe our responsibility to keep in quality and expand a little more through the Japanese technique.
Right.
Then I mentioned already, now very easy to get any ingredients from Japan.
Right.
So it means many people can do this.
Right. So there's a greater risk now that there's so easy accessibility to all these ingredients. So you feel that one of your responsibilities is through teaching to explain to people the proper ways to deal with these ingredients.
Yeah, that's right.
Very good. And in terms of the issue, there's this new word that people use, the locavore, eating local ingredients.
Yes.
How do you sort of put together these two things, the use of ingredients that perhaps come from Tsukiji, come from afar, and this whole sort of new mentality in our country with regards to eating locally? Is that is that something that's affecting your choices in terms of what you are putting on your menus?
Yeah, I do. I that way. So whatever you say, what?
Locavore.
Locavore.
People
yes.
like instead of carnivore.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. Locavore. Okay. I have several restaurants in different city.
Mm-hmm.
So and then even Philadelphia and New York, just 100 miles difference.
Right.
Just 100 miles, but different menu, different design.
Right.
Because people different.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So it's kind of locavore. Right. But so someone called me I'm doing Japanese restaurant, but of course because I have a sushi bar and then serving sushi, that's why people call my restaurant called Japanese restaurant in categorized.
Mm-hmm.
But besides the sushi bar, so I'm having a lot of different things, foie gras, caviar, whatever, steaks.
So not just Japanese.
No,
I mean,
not
really
Japanese,
an
yes.
eclectic menu. Exactly.
Right. But if I do very serious sushi menu, maybe I have to try to get the fish from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, French chef, French cooking, French restaurant here, so they try to get some ingredients from France.
Sure.
Italy too. Italian restaurant wants to get it from, like those things.
Sure.
So French cuisine, started in France. Italian cuisine started in Italy. So sushi, Japanese cuisine started in Japan. So maybe I better get this something ingredient from Japan.
Right.
So that's for sure.
Right.
But other than that, so locavore. Yes.
So obviously, Tsukiji, Japan, the best market, right, for fish in the world. I think that's fair to say.
No, not that Tsukiji only Tsukiji, but whole Japanese.
The whole Japanese.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in the United States, are you finding that there are purveyors of specific types of seafood, specific fish that are of a quality that is?
Yeah. It is good.
Could you give us an example, perhaps, of?
Okay, so some Japanese fish company here is doing some Japanese system. So we have a culture eating raw fish, sushi, sashimi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people who knows about that things going to catch it.
Mm-hmm.
People who knows about so bring it.
Mm-hmm.
And then people who knows about that one sell it.
Right.
And then people who knows about buy it.
Right.
And then people who knows about restaurant service to the customer.
Right.
Those are the system we have.
Right.
So we have to make that one.
Right. So are you saying that there are some Japanese companies that are establishing themselves
but
here in
it's
the
small.
U.S.?
But mostly American fishermen doesn't want to do this.
Right.
So because more catches, that's fine. So they take this one. How much you want to pay? So they don't want to do this.
Right.
It's just a
It's
small
it's more of an
percentage.
art. It's really it requires more effort, and it's not something that you're seeing.
Right.
Okay.
So all the fish, like all the Pacific Ocean, like all the same. Atlantic Oceans, the Japan side, American side, same.
Right.
So for example, in the club, we have a Kegani Heri club in between Japan, Hokkaido, and Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, both come each other. And then Japanese boat catch it and then bring back to Japan. So maybe $100 per piece. And bring back to Alaska, $20. So
there's that big a difference between the prices?
Yes, the same thing. So because the priority difference.
That's incredible.
But maybe same thing. They don't do nothing, just catch it. They bring us. And then what's the market price each other?
So if there's a market price difference that is that large, wouldn't you think that the Alaskan boats would want to send it to Japan?
No, maybe they can. Because
Maybe they
the
can.
border there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your menus now, there's been talk about certain fish that are reaching a point of being overfished. Are you editing yourself? Are there certain fish that you don't want to have on your menu because?
No, but anything okay.
Anything is okay.
Yes, that's why I did the monkfish today.
Right.
So because monkfish is not really popular Japanese restaurant here. In Japan, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
People everyone knows monkfish is what it is, but so American restaurant or whatever, Western restaurants, kind of the monkfish is very popular fish, right? Seafood.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not Japanese restaurant side. So that's why I did. So
Okay.
I can use monkfish, but I want to show you what the whole fish looks like.
Right, exactly.
And how to cut it.
The entire fish.
Right,
We're
right.
using it from tail to
Right.
to tip.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's good examples. I can use anything.
You can use anything.
Yeah.
So the issue of certain fish not being that available anymore, or being a little bit endangered. It's not. Is this something that concerns you?
But unfortunately, I have no kids. But I have to pass in the next generation for clean, sure. Okay.
Yes.
Not for if something fish or some animal for danger, we shouldn't do that, right?
Right.
So you have to keep the clean earth to the next generation. But
exactly.
I have no kids, but okay, I have no kids. I don't care about it. It's not right.
So it is a concern for you.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Anything surprise you in this conference? Anything that you've heard from some of the other speakers with regards to responsibility of the chef? Any new ideas come out of this for you?
But so unfortunately, just today is the first.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Last night I went to the dinner and the cocktail parties.
Right.
Yeah. So I just look around all the booths. That's all the top company came.
Right.
It's getting bigger and bigger. This is the third, right?
Third conference.
It's getting bigger. I mean, from last year.
Right.
Then. So I explained already. My stage today is the best stage ever I did.
It's a fantastic stage.
Yeah, because I did many times every year, every single month the foreign festival, whatever. So this my stage kind of special tools I need. But this is the best I ever had.
It's really fantastic.
Yeah.